Plaintiff Tina Shaheen was an alcoholic for 35 years, and she only got sober after getting a DUI with her 5-year-old in the car. Tina claims her son, the defendant, resents her because he had to drop out of school to care for her child, but she's suing her son today for a loan. Defendant Anthony Dugan says in spite of Tina's alcoholism, she was a good role model. However, although she's no longer drinking, Anthony's worried that Tina replaced the alcohol addiction with an addiction to either crack or cocaine.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, I just wanted to start off to say that I love my son very much. I'm very proud of the young man that he's become. And in the past, I was an active alcoholic, and I've been sober for 8 years.
Good.
But my son was raised with me drinking, and I stopped drinking.
To what age?
At 17.
Okay.
And I stopped drinking when I got a DUI with my 5-year-old minor in the car.
When did you start drinking?
When I was about 13.
What year do you know? How many years did you go
35
as an
years.
alcoholic?
35 years I drank.
As an alcoholic?
Active alcoholic, yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Then I ended up in jail for a year, and during that time my son was in school, and he had to drop out to take care of his minor sister. And I felt he's always resented me for that, and it's hurt our relationship. And
do you understand the resentment?
Yes, I do, sir.
And it has always hurt your relationship, you say?
I feel that it has, yes, sir.
What makes you feel that way?
I feel that we're not as warm and fuzzy, and we used to be cohorts in crime.
What does that mean?
Flipping cars on Craigslist, repairing them and selling them, just a little hobby. And we always work together as a team to do that, and that has weaned.
And anything else you want to tell me? How's he been doing in school? You say you're proud of the life he's able to live, overcoming the obstacles that you presented?
Yes, he's a student full-time for microbiology at a private college.
Good.
He also works full-time as a quality control sanitarian for a food plant, and the company likes him so much as an employee, they're paying to put him through college.
Excellent. And he was in the household with you?
Yes, he was raised in a household with me, sir.
No father in the household?
No, there was a father, too.
Okay.
We ended up divorcing because of
What was his
alcohol.
lifestyle like?
His father...
Did he live in the household?
Yes.
What was his life like? Was he an alcoholic as well?
No, he was not. He worked full-time as a nurse's aide for a developmentally disabled center for the state of Wisconsin.
And he was able to connect with your son?
They have an excellent relationship.
All right, so I was trying to find so that others will know how kids can overcome major obstacles in their life during their upbringing and then turn it around. And so one of the things I'm hearing is there was his father's presence that inspired him and kept him on the right track. So as long as there's someone in their life that can keep them on the right track, you know, it's a higher probability that they'll be able to move forward and prepare themselves for a career. Let me hear from you, young man.
Yeah, first I want to say, you know, I don't resent my mom. I love her very much, and, you know, I want the best for her and my family. And she stated she overcame alcohol addiction, and, you know, that's true. But before I get into the details more, I want to say, you know, I fear that maybe overcoming that addiction could have led to replacing it with another addiction.
What's that? A drug or a lifestyle? Going to the casinos every night? What are you saying? We're doing what?
I mean, all I can, you know, base this on is the behavior I've witnessed. Some of the symptoms relate to maybe cocaine use or crack addiction. But I do want to make sure that I state, you know, I've always
How long
loved
have
her.
you seen those symptoms?
You know, it's been maybe since 2011, and
That's
there's
a
been
long
high
time.
points and low points throughout that time. And, you know, I really want to state that, you know, I don't want my mom to think she wasn't a good role model, because she's one of the most, she's a very professional lady, had a higher position in the workforce, and one of the smartest people I know. I don't want her to think that, you know, she wasn't capable of being a good role model in the past. You know, she was someone to look up to.
Okay.
And I'd also want to say that, the details that I've been witnessing are, it started with fraudulent checks.
How long ago?
That was maybe 2011. So that was right when I was out of high school. And, I understand there's pressures that we're going through, economic times and everything like that. But, it evolved.
She stay out much at night, overnight? Come up missing a couple of days?
Not back then. She was still around.
Has she done it since or any time?
Yeah, she's...
Since then?
Yeah, more recently I would say she's not around as much. With my sister, she's not in the house as much.
What hours in particular? Did she disappear overnight? Need to look up crack. Go get a crack dictionary. You don't know what crack is like? They disappear overnight, don't come home. They have binges, so they out for 2 or 3 days, smoking up everything that doesn't move, including what they think is in the carpet. Let's just make it plain. Are you a crackhead or not? Your son thinks you might be.
No, I'm not,
On
sir.
your own crack.
No, I'm not, sir.
You've been disappearing. When was the last time you were out overnight?
I stay out late because basically I have a boyfriend because I'm going through a divorce.
Now, you know that sounds like a crackish answer now. You know that is a crackish answer, ma'am. But we're going to blame it on the alcohol, all right? I'm not going to accuse you. We're going to blame it on the alcohol. And leave your mother alone. The good news is you've come out to be a fine young man, and that's the measure of a parent's success, in my opinion. Go ahead. Tell me about the loan.
The loan, sir, was for tuition.
When?
Back when he went back as an adult student. It was in like 2017. And he fell short on his financial aid package, so he needed $3,200. So I had just sold my house to move to Africa with my overseas husband that was in America with me, and we were moving back to stay in his country for a while.
They got crack over there.
And
I know people that's one of the things people try and do, move out the neighborhood where the crack is, move out of the community, try to run from the crack. They got crack everywhere. So you ain't running from crack when you go over to Ghana or Africa. What part of Africa?
Morocco.
Woo, they got plenty of crack over there.
All over.
I'm sorry, man. He opened the door to that. You know that's part of my thing anyway. And so when your son opened the door, I got to give you the devil over there. All right, so you decided once you got your funds, you were going to move to Africa, and what happened?
Borrowed him $3,200 for the tuition, and it was a loan. I stated it was a loan.
To be repaid when?
I repaid next time he gets a financial aid draw.
Okay.
Which was in January, and I said, no problem. Then when I was planning on coming back, he had not paid me in January, and I said, well, I need $1,400 for an apartment when I move back to America, and you owe me money. So he generously took the $1,400 out of his financial aid package and paid a down payment on an apartment for me. The apartment fell through. I ended up having to take the landlord to small claims court because she would not let me move in because I refused to sign the lease that she had written. But he never paid me the remainder. Now I'm going through divorce with my husband that's from Morocco, and I really need the money. And I helped him when he needed it, and I know he's a wonderful young man, and I anticipate he'll step up to the plate one day.
Okay. What have you all, or you and his dad, contributed to his education, college?
I gave the $3,200, that's about it, and I've helped him, through emotional encouragement and advice because I myself am a college graduate.
So you did give him the $3,200?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay, good. I thought you loaned it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got it.
That's good.
The point I'm getting to, ma'am, I think you all have an obligation to finance his education as best you can. And whether he agreed to repay or not, ma'am, you should have gave him that money. You didn't starve thereafter, right? And he hasn't paid you since. And you're not starving. So I say that parents, particularly in this instance where you actually had it, should pay for their children's tuition as much as they can afford to do so. If you go to a major university or even a regional or small or private university, they cost somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000 a year. And financial aid, I think he would probably max out even if you're poor. So there's always a shortfall, and it's usually about $5,000, and that's why young people get $5,000 typically a semester or a year that they have to borrow. So that's why I'm just trying to make that plain to the viewers and to the young people and to you, that he's always going to have a shortfall in college. Am I speaking for you and out of turn? You tell me about your college expenses.
You know, what led to the shortfall that I needed her help covering was I worked for another employer that, shut down and then kind of lost my tuition reimbursement. I wouldn't have gone to this college if I didn't have the support of an employer in the first place. So I did think about that. And when my first employer that offered this benefit shut down, I ran out of money.
Certainly. Man,
I was lucky enough to find another too, so I'm good now, but
correct.
Yeah.
And that's not going to always be the case. But, do what you have to do. You're in a university that has a high placement rate for jobs. That's another thing young people should look at before they go to a training program, community college or university. One of the things should be included in your consideration is their job placement rate. So those are the things that come in to consideration, the amount you're going to have to pay for each school and whether that school's placement rate. People major in things that they don't even do anymore. They major in what he calls drawing architect. They do everything on the computer now, what you look like with a pencil. You ain't gonna never get a job using a pencil. And so that's what I suggest, ma'am. And secondly, my suggestion is, as I will also advise viewers, is that your child's college should be in mind from the time they are born. Nora, my 3-year-old grandchild, her college is paid for up through a medical degree, because that's what's on my mind. And so that's what I think all viewers should have on their mind, because in this day and age, you're not going to find a livable wage job without some advanced preparation. And that's my advice, and parents have to think about that. So let me see what you got. You got Chanel's on. You got red bottoms. Walking here with a Chanel bag. Where's your bag at? You left it out there? Your purse.
Yes, I did.
And don't want to pay his tuition. Now, that's ghetto fabulous. You still want to sue him, or have I lashed you enough? You still want your money, don't you?
I just want help with my rent.
How much? You can't get help from him every month. How much?
I can't. $1,400.
One time, $1,400?
Yes. $1,475.
And Your Honor, I would like to interject. It might not even be a problem for me to provide her money.
Be quiet.
It's just if.
Don't say that.
If.
Don't say that.
There's a big if here. If I could trust her to spend that money on the rent. So, there's a history of shortfalls, maybe like my tuition fees.
So
but,
a one-time payment wouldn't help.
No, that's my fear.
It's going to continue.
Yeah, I've had a history
necessity.
of, giving her money here and there, and I feel like I've done way more than enough to complete this, satisfy the debt that she's
And you're going to
claiming.
continue to help her in the future. Judgment for the plaintiff, I'm going to pay out of my scholarship fund, out of the Mathis Scholarship, Young Adults and Servants, and give it to you. All right? Continued success to you. If you have to go part-time based on the amount, if you have to, are you on campus or at home? You go from home?
Yeah, I commute.
Okay, so if you have to take less courses, night school, part-time, whatever you have to do, don't stop, all right? Young people who stop while they're in college, they get a car. So they got a car note, insurance. They get them a little apartment. So they get their little girlfriend coming over. Who wants to go back to school? He's smiling. You on your way. You on your way. Don't drop out of school, get your little bitty apartment, have a little girlfriend coming over there, sneak in their dorms at school. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you to the show for giving my son an opportunity to air his feelings and for me an opportunity to express my love. I'm so grateful because before the show, my son texted me and said, no matter what happens, I love you. Mission accomplished.
I would reciprocate the same feeling. I'm glad that we were able to come together, and without another setting, maybe some of these feelings would have been kept in. So it wouldn't matter what, we're going to be a family.
Love you.
Yep, you too.